96. 20% chance of showers and storms, 80 for tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. A slight chance, a 10% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, 98. Sunday, sunny. 10% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, high of 99. Staff meteorologist John Weatherby, Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
91 degrees right now. The Dow is down 287 points at 18,088. S&P 500 down 32 at 1920. The NASDAQ down 53 at 4680. Reporting for Money Radio, I'm Ken Morgan.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Roth, and you are listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you're just tuning in, we're a weekly show found right here on Money Radio 1510 AM, 99.3 FM, and we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. We are a show about how our aging adult population can live a healthier, happier life. The only one of its kind here in Arizona, and we're right here on Money Radio. It's hard to believe that it is September 4th, the Friday before Labor Day weekend. And for many of you that may be tuning in, you might be in your cars right now heading to either the California coast or you might be heading north to the mountains. We want you to really take it easy today. Be careful. The roads are going to be very crowded, and we want you to have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. I've had the opportunity to have some incredible guests on the show, and today is no different. Today I have Stephanie Bivens, and Stephanie Bivens is with Bivens and Associates, and she shared with me they've been in business for 18 years, and she has the distinction of being a certified elder law attorney, and it's a designation that is one that is very difficult to get, because I remember when you told me you got it, but also very few people have this designation. I believe there are 3 here in the Valley. There's about 500 across the country. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob.
You know, so we are here today to talk about elder law, but more so, as I said at the top of the hour, we're a show about our aging adult population, how to live a healthier, happier life. And oftentimes, you know, some people plan, some people don't. And in your field, you probably see it all. And you're hoping you get people on the planning side, but I would imagine, and I know this about you and your practice, sometimes it's by crisis, and you're dealing with an event that has happened, and you're dealing with not only the individual, but you're dealing with the families.
Absolutely. It's always a joy when we have somebody who comes in and is being very proactive. They want to take care of their estate plan, put things in order, pick for themselves who will make their medical decisions if later, for any reason, such as an illness or a disability, they can't themselves, or they pick for themselves who will take care of their finances for them if later they can't due to an illness or a disability. But we don't always get that often, lucky that often. And so we do a lot of crisis management. The onset of a stroke that's disabling, and an accident that occurs, Alzheimer's, dementia that progresses very rapidly before the family has an opportunity to get everything in order. So we see it all in our practice area.
No, I know you do. And it's interesting because I had the pleasure of speaking before the Arizona Bar Association, and one of the questions I had was we did the ethical review, and we reviewed certainly, and our listening audience has heard me talk about the legislation that we just recently adopted here in our state, and that is legislation for home care aides that are working, the disclosure rules that are in existence. And, you know, I went through presenting all of that, and then we went through the ethics review, and And it's a great question to ask, and I certainly would love for you to respond to it because I know you know the answer, but it's really good for our listening audience to hear this, and that is, you get lots of phone calls not from just the client themselves. You get phone calls from the adult child.
Certainly.
Or you get phone calls from other family members or others that are concerned about an aging adult and the situation that they're in. But if you have a phone call from an adult child and they're saying to you, hey, you know what, I'd like to engage your services for mom and dad. We have an event that has just happened. Can we come in and see you and review their state, review their needs, review their situation, and need your advice? And I really want our listening audience to hear this. Is the ethical question is, who's the client?
Well, that's the perennial law school essay exam question, and in the elder law area, that sometimes becomes a little bit dicey, even for the attorney to, at the outset of representation, clearly identify who the client is. Oftentimes, our client will be the adult child, and in instances where the adult child is already serving as agent under a valid power of attorney or trustee under a valid trust agreement that the parent some time ago, while competent, had executed, then clearly the adult child, in their capacity as a fiduciary, assisting mom or dad, can be the client. But in cases where there are no legal documents in place, it becomes a little more murky. The adult child may come in, but if we're going to be preparing those documents, then clearly the parent is also the child. So sometimes, and it becomes frustrating for families, we may actually reserve the right to refer some family members to different counsel so that there's separate counsel between the generations.
Right.
Sometimes we even refer separate counsel between a husband and a wife if there's potential conflict of interest between spouses in estate planning or long-term care asset protection planning. So, the safe rule of thumb is call. Call the elder law attorney, explain what's going on. They will figure out who the client is going to be and what legal tools and solutions are available to the family. That's really not something that the family needs to worry about as much as the law firm or the attorney on the other end needs to think through and figure out.
And I think that was a great response because, like you said, some people have the documents all in order and they just need some help, professional help to how to meander through the challenges that they're dealing with, or like you said, if there's nothing drawn up, then that's where you as an elder law attorney are probably looking to represent that parent or that aging adult. And I think, for our listening audience to hear this, please, if you ever find yourself in this situation, do not be offended. If Stephanie Bivens or the elder law attorney says, you know what, you need to seek your own representation because they're protecting you. They're protecting you because you need your own counsel, as does your loved one, your parent, or if it's spouses, they need them as well. So, no, I liked your response on that.
And, in the elder law area, everybody thinks, oh, it's simple. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to do a power of attorney, or I just need a will. It is never simple in the elder law area because we're looking at issues of aging. So what does our client need now in the way of health care based on their current diagnoses? If they have a diagnosis, how is that likely to affect them in the future? What are their care needs likely to going to be in the future? What are the costs of those care needs going to be, and how are they going to afford for those care needs? So it's not as simple as, I just need a power of attorney,
right,
or I just need a will. There's all of the issues that come with aging that the elder law attorney really has a special focus on.
It's interesting. You brought up costs, and we deal with it in our profession as well. And, with the advent of the internet and access to a lot of stuff, and you shared with me at the top of the hour, you're enhancing your look, and we'll give the website out in a little bit. But, there are a lot of people that are really concerned about costs, and there are solutions out there that are internet-based. One that comes to mind is LegalZoom. And people are often and it happens in our profession too. People sometimes are penny wise yet pound foolish.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Unfortunately, the internet services that people use who aren't attorneys, or even who are attorneys but don't have experience in this particular area, is just a guarantee for future business for my firm. Because we're often having to fix problems. And what I see happen so often, and it really is just so unfortunate, is typical example is somebody thinks, well, I'm going to save a few dollars and I'll just do my estate plan online. And what happens is they have no idea the power of attorney form that they got online was not legally valid because the law has changed, or they didn't have it signed or properly witnessed.
Or it was in a different state.
And so at the very point the parent's incapacitated, they now can't sign a new power of attorney, it's not going to work. And then we have to go to court, and we're spending thousands of dollars to fix something that would have been very efficient and inexpensive had it just been done right the first time.
You know, we're up against a break here. Hear a little bit of Eric Clapton. We're going to take a break. I got Stephanie Bivens from Bivens and Associates. I'm Bob Roth. You're listening to Health Futures. We'll be right back.
Learn how to get your estate in order Wednesday mornings at 9 on Estate Planning with attorney Matt Dana. With over 30 years of experience and expertise, Matt will share cutting-edge strategies, ideas, and tips on how to help secure your estate from life's unexpected events. Wondering how to protect and maximize your family's inheritance? Wonder no more. Listen to Estate Planning with attorney Matt Dana every Wednesday morning at 9, right here on Money Radio 1510 AM and 99.3 FM.
If your business is struggling to hire someone to support your computer systems, then TeamLogic IT can help. Outsource your IT support and call TeamLogic IT today. 602-254-5558. For less than the cost of one IT employee, you can have a whole IT department supporting your business. This month's special is a free consultation tailored to your business goals. Call TeamLogic IT today for your free consultation. 602-254-5558.
There are thousands of publicly traded securities in the United States. Most investors tend to focus on the largest companies traded on the major exchanges. However, there are also many smaller growth companies that historically outperform large company stocks. I'm Jim Gentrip, Principal Partner and CFA Charterholder with Valvista Capital Management. We specialize in micro and small cap growth stocks. You should consider microcap growth stocks simply because they are underfollowed. This leads to great opportunities that many investors overlook. It takes more time to analyze a small company, and fewer published reports means that microcap stocks often don't trade at their full value. This creates price inefficiencies for savvy investors who can spot these undiscovered gems. And do you know what the secret is to finding these gems? Is to consult a professional that specializes in this niche. At Valvista Capital Management, we are the professionals, so call us today at 480-646-4537. That's 480-646-4537.
Bubba Burger is the official burger of Labor Day. Pick up some juicy Bubba Burgers and get the grill sizzling. Visit BubbaFoods.com to find a retailer nearest you.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you're listening to Health Futures. If you're just tuning in, I got Stephanie Bivens from Bivens and Associates in the house. And if you missed our first segment, go out to cypresshomecare.com and click on the radio button up at the top or midway down, and you'll catch this segment and about 75 others that we've been on since January 2014. And Stephanie, when we took that break, you were talking about, we were talking about the internet and how there's so many great solutions out there, at least on the surface, for so many to get legal advice or legal help or legal documents.
Right.
And one of the things you mentioned was power of attorneys and trusts. And if you want to guarantee litigation, go order those online because, trust me, they will be challenged.
Yeah, what I was saying during the break is the do-it-yourself method is a pretty surefire way to guarantee your family is going to be in litigation. Unfortunately, when it comes to designing wills or trusts, a lot of people know what they mean. They think they know what they mean,
right.
But when the document turns out, they don't plan for contingencies. They don't know what they should put in there, so they just put in what they think should be in there. And it leads to a lot of ambiguities. And when there's ambiguities or uncertainties in legal documents, that's oftentimes when the court is going to have to get involved to answer a question or resolve a dispute among the family. And working with counsel really is a way to make sure that there are no ambiguities, your wishes are known, they're going to be honored as best possible, and you're going to have the best opportunity to keep your family out of a litigation setting. That's just not a good legacy to leave.
It's not.
If you're going to the trouble to do your estate planning, generally it's because you have a goal of minimizing the contest and the hurt feelings among family members. You don't want your case or your situation to end up in litigation, and the do-it-yourselfers actually end up creating problems they never know is going to happen. And then the rest of us are left trying to resolve the problems and clean up the mess, if you will.
And that wasn't what they intended to leave in the first place.
No,
absolutely they had
not.
good intentions, and unfortunately, Stephanie, and you and I both know this, I think families have great intentions.
Oh, absolutely.
The one thing that ends up getting in the way, and invariably it ends up being the source of contention, is money. It always ends up being the money.
It does, and I'm always surprised at relatively how little it takes for a family to end up in disarray. And sometimes it's not the money. Sometimes it's the sentimental items. I've seen families blow apart over who gets the engagement ring that mom wore all those years, or who gets the tool collection of dad,
or the Yadro,
or the Yadros. Yeah. So the best,
crystal.
The best thing is to sit down with counsel, have your wishes be known, put good documents in place. And the other thing I see is families often think they have to name a child or a family member to take care of everything. But if all the children do not have good communication, or there's other issues between those children, maybe it's better to pick a third party, a professional entity like a trust company or a licensed fiduciary or somebody else, a bank, to take care of things and take the conflict out and really leave a legacy that's positive and meaningful to the family. And that's what we try and do in estate planning, besides just minimizing taxation and avoiding probate, kind of the easy things to do with the elder law perspective. We're not looking at just how do we get your assets from point A at your death to point B, meaning the persons or the entities or the charities that you desire. That's the easy part of my job. It's the 10, the 20, the 30 years before a client passes, where we're really focused on if they have an illness or an injury, how do they want their care needs met? Do they want to stay at home? Do they want to move in with a child? Do they want to go out of state, stay in state? What's that care going to look like? How's it going to cost? Who's going to coordinate their care, be their medical decision and their advocate? And then on the financial side, who's going to pay for that? And what means do they have? The other big do-it-yourself problems we see is people who try and qualify themselves for public benefits to pay for long-term care. There are just so many myths, and I'll call them urban legends out there when it comes to the Arizona long-term care system program and qualifying for that program to pay for long-term care, or even the VA aid and attendance program. Getting the information even from the internet on those programs is next to impossible. And you really want to see an elder law attorney with a lot of experience in qualifying people for those programs to get the best advice to protect your assets, to know how to qualify for those programs appropriately and timely, and what those programs are going to provide, and whether that's what you need or whether it's not what you need.
And for those that are tuning in, the Altex programs, Arizona Long-Term Care Services, primarily we're talking about access, and
Correct.
That's our state's Medicaid. And let's talk about qualifying for it. And just like any government type of aid and assistance, it's very convoluted and very confusing. And calling Stephanie or an elder law attorney that has that expertise is going to help you navigate through that and get through that successfully.
Correct. You have to, Altex, Arizona Long-Term Care System, is our state's Medicaid program. It's under the Access General Insurance umbrella, and Access has probably 9 to 10 different insurance programs. This is just one of them, and it pays for long-term care. What most people don't know is it can pay for home health, not just nursing home care. It can also pay for nursing home care, but the in-between levels, assisted living or adult care home, or even adult daycare.
Or the services we provide.
Exactly, home care.
Which is home care, attendant care, custodial care. They do pay for that too.
Absolutely. And most people who end up on Altex paying for attendant or custodial care in their own homes, most people actually pay nothing out of pocket for that care, depending on their income. The rules are very complex. You have to qualify medically. You have to qualify financially. A lot of people hear Medicaid and they think, oh, well, I have a good income, or I have, a pretty significant nest egg. I won't qualify. You shouldn't discount it. You should really see somebody, because there are a lot of tools and techniques that we have to plan so that you can preserve your assets and cost shift from you paying out of pocket.
Right.
And becoming bankrupt eventually, because the cost of care can bankrupt most people out there if they need care for long enough, and qualifying sooner for services.
There was a couple things you said, and you started it right as we started this segment, and that is, first of all, we've talked about it here on the show, and that is having the conversation. And really, I can't impress enough upon our listening audience that you need to have that conversation with your loved ones, especially your aging parents, to know what their wishes are. And, nobody really thinks about who's going to care for me medically, who's going to make those decisions. And you know what? Guess what? It's not something that we really want to think about.
Right.
Not only that, I talked about it being September 4th. And, this morning, I don't know if you got up early. I did, and walked my dog. It was absolutely nice. I mean, I think we're almost here with the fall.
It's going to be lower than triple digits today, I hear. So we're getting there.
We are getting there, but we also need to have these conversations. And you and I both know it's not a one conversation; it's an ongoing discussion. Mm-hmm. And maybe you've got some tips that you can share with our listening audience to at least start the conversation before they come and see you, because we need to have our professionals do the paperwork and the documentation and those types of things. So certainly it's a discussion that we need to have now before an event happens. And I love how they talk about that in the medical field. They you have a heart attack, he had an event.
Right. They make it sound positive.
Yeah, it's like,
an event.
I went to this
We're
ball.
Going to a special event.
Exactly. Right. But do you have any tips in terms of at least beginning that conversation?
Yeah, and a lot of times it depends on the personality of the parent. For parents that are, I'll say, A-type, and being a lawyer, I probably fall into that category where, the A-types like to be in control, right? Estate planning is about being in control. It's about you making the decisions about how things are going to be handled and who's going to take care of things for you if and when you ever cannot yourself. And nobody wants to think about, well, what if I start with dementia or Alzheimer's and I slowly lose cognitive decline? So you probably don't want to give that example to an A-type parent.
Right.
But everybody knows somebody who's had the sudden out-of-the-blue stroke that was severely disabling.
You know what? We're going to leave off on the A-type. We're going to come back.
Sure.
We're up against another break. We're listening to a little bit of Jason Mraz. You're listening to Health Futures. We'll be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
The manhunt for 3 cop killers continues in northern Illinois, with federal crime experts analyzing several videos from around the time of the Tuesday slaying. George Valenko of the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force.
There's timelines and consistency. We can tell chronologically. Again, the FBI has the technology to put these videos in sequential order.
Saudi Arabia's king is in the nation's capital for a meeting with President Obama. White House correspondent Michelle Kaczynski.
This visit is really an opportunity for the U.S. to reassure the Saudis that the U.S. stands with them in trying to counter Iran's destabilizing force in that region.
Rowan County, Kentucky has handed out 3 marriage licenses to same-sex couples today as the office's clerk sits in jail for refusing to approve the paperwork. An attorney for Kim Davis says she has a clean conscience and that the marriage license issued today are void because they don't have her signature. I'm Ann Cates.
Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
If you can't recall your own cell phone number, but know the braking distance of a half-ton pickup traveling downhill at 57 miles per hour, then CarQuest Auto Parts is for you. That's because CarQuest Auto Parts is for those who really know and care about their car. Right now, get a half-inch drive click-style torque wrench, a $34.99 value for just $10 with the purchase of CarQuest Platinum brake pads and 2 rotors. CarQuest is serious auto parts.
See participating stores for details.
The Arizona Better Business Bureau reminds Money Radio listeners to beware of scam artists after the monsoon storms hit. Check monsoon.arizonabbb.org.
Laura Bramnick is a real estate agent and a real estate attorney. Laura Bramnick is in a unique position to create opportunities for her commercial real estate clients with commercial property sales or purchases, lease negotiations, landlord-tenant relations, creative financing options, and more. Visit TalkRealEstateAZ.com or call 480-624-2705. That's 480-624-2705. To talk with Laura, call 480-624-2705.
Volatility is coming back into the market. After a few generally peaceful up years in the market, 2015 has already had a number of sharp up and down moves, and these are likely to continue. If you're prepared for it, volatility is opportunity. If you're not, it can quickly wipe out years of gains in your portfolio. Learn how to get on the professional side of the trade, the right side of the trade, regardless of volatility. Check out online trading academies, The Right Side of the Trade, Thursday at noon on Money Radio 1510.
Now, here's certified income specialist Steve Jurich.
Hey, let's do a little math. One of the most popular variable annuities in America features a 1.5% mortality expense fee, a 1.5% income rider fee, a 0.15% administration fee, and approximately 1% for the sub-account management fees. The grand total, 4.15%. Over 10 years, that'll total over 41.5% in fees. During bull markets, no problem. But during bear markets, the fees don't stop. Withdraw 5% annually for income, and you're draining 9.15% per year of principal. Not kidding.
Money Radio listeners are making the move to IQ Wealth. Find out why. Learn how to build your retirement with verified research, comprehensive comparison, and a fiduciary duty. For your free personal review, call 480-902-3333. 480-902-3333. Investment advisory services by IQ Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with Steve and visit IQWealth.com.
Toyota's once-a-year annual clearance event is on now. Get your Toyota today before they're gone. Visit a Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com.
I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. Health insurer Highmark Health said it will cut back on its offerings on the Affordable Care Act marketplaces, becoming the latest insurer to make changes amid financial losses. The company said it would continue to sell plans under Obamacare, but would reduce the number available. Highmark said it lost more than $300 million on its individual health law plans in the first 6 months of the year. Shares of specialty boutique retailer Vince Holding hit an all-time low today after the company reported worse than expected second quarter results and slashed its guidance for the year. The New York company went public about 2 years ago for $20 a share. It sells contemporary fashion, and its merchandise is in standalone boutiques as well as high-end department stores. Shares are down 41% today at $5.39. The broader market remains lower, with the Dow Industrials down 285 points. The NASDAQ Composite is down 55. That's Your Money Now.
When you're running your own business, you're bound to be busy. Too busy. Too busy worrying about your budget. Too busy scheduling appointments. Too busy to build a website for your business. And because you're too busy, it has to be easy. And that's where Wix.com comes in. With Wix.com, it's easy for you to create your stunning website. Go to Wix.com and create your website today. It's easy and free. That's Wix.com.
It's fall flooring season with incredible deals on the hottest styles right now at Lumber Liquidators Fall Flooring Kickoff Sale. Choose from over 400 great floors with over 20 laminate styles like American-made mahogany for just 49 cents a square foot. More than 30 bamboo floors like carbonized bamboo for only $159, and over 150 hardwood floors like pre-finished gunstock for only 99 cents. With $1 off Bellawood, 20% off Dream Home laminates, plus great floors, wood-like tile, vinyl, and more. With 24-month special financing, the Fall Flooring Kickoff Sale is going on now. Visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Roth, and you're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We're on our third segment. I got Stephanie Bivens here in the studio. We're coming at you live from this Gusto Air Park, and Stephanie is with Bivens and Associates, and they are an Arizona law firm focusing on estate planning, elder law, and special needs planning. And when we broke from the second segment, we were talking about the different types of people that we're dealing with, and I'm talking about our aging adults. And I was sharing with you, Stephanie, and our listening audiences, how do we have this conversation with our parents? And when we left off, we were talking about the A-type personality. So if you could just summarize the A-type and then give us the other type that you generally see.
Sure. So when you're having a conversation with a parent or an older family member about, what their wishes are and trying to motivate them to see an attorney to get everything in order, the A-types sometimes don't want to go see a lawyer because they think they're going to be giving up control. And it's really the opposite. You want to press upon them that, you want to know what their wishes are so you can follow their wishes. And if it's not you, that's fine, but they get to pick who's going to be making their decisions. And so I find the A-types are really receptive to that conversation. It's about control, not about loss of control for them.
Right.
These documents speak for them. Their wishes will be honored. The right people are going to be in control of the situation, the people that they pick. If they go and they get their documents in place with good quality counsel. The other type of personality that I see often in the office is, I'll call it the compassionate parent. And it's not the A-types are not necessarily compassionate, but it's kind of more what motivates somebody. So instead of being the control parent, this is kind of the person who I find really doesn't care so much about control. They don't mind if they're not paying their bills, and they just kind of go with the flow. Their primary concern related to their children is making things easy on their kids. And so the conversation with somebody who's coming from the kind of that compassionate personality side is, we don't want to take over necessarily, but heaven forbid we ever have to someday, Mom or Dad, please make our job easier. We're going to need legal documents to be able to talk to the bank, to be able to talk to the doctor, take care of everything for you. If these documents are not done right and they're not updated on a regular basis, we may end up having to go to court. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money. Nobody wants to go through more than we need to go through. Just, help us help you, to kind of use a
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, exactly. Help me help you. And I find that coming from that perspective in the conversation with the parent is really productive because they'll see that they are helping you. And that's their motivation. And it's not so much about themselves, it's about their children.
And it's interesting because, we described how to have this conversation with our aging parents, but at the same time, you get to see, and we talked about it at the top of the show, when a crisis has happened, when these things haven't been put in place.
Oh, I can't tell you, Bob. We get phone calls on an all too often basis that go something like this to the office. hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm calling because my dad needs a power of attorney, or I need a power of attorney for my dad. And so we start asking questions, and we find out the dad has had some major event, and he's in a coma, in ICU, in a hospital. Well, the only person who can grant power of attorney is dad. So if dad is unresponsive, our hands are tied.
Right.
The only option we have is to go to court, get a conservatorship over dad, and probably also a guardian. A guardian is the person appointed by the judge to make the personal and medical decisions for an incapacitated adult. And a conservator is the person appointed by the court to handle all of the financial matters for an incapacitated adult. And we don't have a choice.
Are they usually one and the same, or do they appoint two separate ones?
Depends on the circumstance, really. More often than not, it's the same individual.
Okay.
But there are cases in which it makes sense to have the child who has a medical professional background. Maybe the nurse daughter is going to be the guardian,
Right.
and the CPA daughter is going to be the conservator, because they can divvy up the job and they both have particular skill sets in one area over the other.
Got it.
Sometimes we end up with professionals managing the money, because nobody wants to fight about the money or handle that. It's a big job to be conservator. There's a lot of accounting requirements, a lot of forms to fill out for the court every year. So sometimes the family will say, you know what, I'll put that in the hands of a professional who has that particular skill set, and family will just be the guardian.
Sounds like you have a little knowledge about that. The documentation and the forms.
As I think we said at the top of the show, I've been in elder law now for 18 years, and my entire elder law practice has significantly involved guardianship and conservatorship in the probate court, both uncontested and contested, both on an emergency or a non-emergency basis involving mental health or non-mental health issues. So, yeah, we do a lot of that. And as I always tell my clients, I'm the only one having a good time at court. It's very expensive. I, as a lawyer, enjoy going to court. That part of my practice is very rewarding because we are often dealing with a crisis. Nobody has access to pay bills. Nobody has legal authority to make appropriate medical decisions. Everything's in disarray. And it's very rewarding as an attorney to bring that peace to the family, get things in order so that there can be continuity of care. We can pay for care. Things start happening that are good following a crisis. But getting through that crisis, I'm the only one having a good time at court. My families are not enjoying the process. It's very expensive,
Right.
and it is something that you do want to avoid. If possible. And that's the other conversation children can have with their parents, is the scare tactic,
Right.
which is, if you don't do this, mom and dad, and heaven forbid something happen and you don't have these documents in place, I'm afraid we're going to have to go to court. Nobody knows what you really wanted. So a stranger, a judge, is going to be picking who gets to make your medical decisions and pay your bills and take care of things for you. It may not be who you think it's going to be. So the scare tactic often works as well as part of that conversation. And the cost. Any parent who is price sensitive, who doesn't want to see an attorney or is giving pushback to paying a lawyer to get the right documents in place, trust me, going to court costs much, much more than just doing the documents up front.
And, having you as your representative, and, I'm here to promote and give you procs, if you would. 18 years as an elder law attorney, having gone to court for these type of battles, you have to know these judges, and they must know you. Yes. So when they know Stephanie Bivens has showed up before them, they know this is a woman that has got her act together. She knows what she's talking about, and she clearly has that person who's incapacitated, their best interest at heart.
Correct. It really doesn't matter who my client is at the end of the representation. Our goal and our duty is to act in the best interest of the incapacitated adult.
Exactly.
And I would like to think that the court has a good impression of me and my firm. It's not just me. I have five attorneys total, myself and 4 others in the office, as well as an entire team dedicated to meeting the needs of the elderly and their families.
And that's important to know. And I want to just give, as I give you procs, I want to give your information out And I know you said you're redoing your website, but it's pretty darn good as it is. So I want to give that to everybody here that's listening in, and that is, it's bivenslaw.com, and that's BIVENSLAW.com, or call Stephanie at 480-922-1010. And if you want to schedule an appointment, when you call that number, ask for Rebecca Stowe, and she can set that up for you.
Correct.
And, I know we're up against a break, but when we come back, elder law is somewhat new. And I want you to really talk about it because, I told you about a great book that's out, Atul Gawande's Being Mortal. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he talks about is that geriatric physicians are retiring very fast, and we're not getting enough of them in from, medical school. So we have a very large shortage. And I would imagine the same as in the elder law practice. And I want to touch on that when we come back.
Sure.
My name is Bob Roth. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. And I've got Stephanie Bivens in the studio. She's with Bivens and Associates. They're an Arizona law firm focusing on estate planning, elder law, and special needs planning. We'll be right back.
Now, most of the listeners of the station have a mortgage of some type. My question is, why? My name is Joe Capitano, Senior Vice President, Homeowners Financial Group. Think of what life would be like if you didn't have a mortgage, that extra cash each month to enjoy or to invest. And I can show you how to eliminate that mortgage in a fraction of the time without changing any of your current spending habits. It's so simple, it'll just amaze you. Call me today and let me get you back on the road to financial freedom. The interest savings alone could put your kids through college or maybe fund your retirement. Call me, Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545, 480-305-8545, or just go to joeloans.com. Back number 090-6222, MS number 9826, Equal Housing Lender. That's Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545. That's Joe Capitano, 480-305-8545, 480-305-8545, or just go to joeloans.com.
Boomers and retirees. Call Anil Vanzarani and Secured Financial Solutions at 800-957-5604, extension 200, to learn about an asset allocation strategy that encompasses up to 50 dividend-paying stocks, up to 10 exchange-traded funds in different sectors of our market, up to 12 high-yield corporate bonds, and the principal-protected low-cost new generation annuity to ensure a potentially secure retirement. 800-957-5604 and dial extension 200 to set up your complimentary strategy session with Anil Vanzarani and Secured Financial Solutions. Or go online at www.theripa.com. That's 800-957-5604 extension 200. Call today.
Past performance is not indicative of future results. Please read prospectus for risks, fees, and charges. Investment advisory services offered through Horder Investment Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered independently through insurance carrier. Securities transactions for Horder Investment Management clients are placed through Pershing Advisory Solutions, Trust Company of America, and TD Ameritrade.
Bubba Burger is the official burger of Labor Day. Pick up some juicy Bubba Burgers and get the grill sizzling. Visit BubbaFoods.com to find a retailer nearest you.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Roth, and you're hearing a little bit of Glenn Campbell. Gotta like that. It is Friday, September 4th, and we're about to embark on Labor Day weekend. And if you're just tuning in, we're in our fourth segment. I've got Stephanie Bivens from the Bivens Law or Bivens and Associates Group. We were talking at this last segment, or at the end of this last segment, we were talking about elder law, and we were talking about how, or at least I shared, the book, Atul Gawande's book, Being Mortal, how he was saying that there are a lot of retiring geriatric physicians, and there are not enough of them coming up through law school. And we know what we're dealing with. We know that we got 10,000 people a day turning 65. And we know by 2056 there are going to be more people 65 and older in our country than there are going to be 18 and younger. So, Stephanie, my question to you is about elder law. And, you've got this unique designation where you're a certified elder law attorney. There's only 3 in the metropolitan area and here in Phoenix, 500 across the country. Are we ready? Are we ready for the tsunami? And, an estate planning attorney is not an elder law attorney. And I want you to just kind of help me understand, what is elder law and why do we need to know this, and why should our aging adult population know this too?
Sure. Well, to answer the question of are we ready, I think the strain on our system that is going to come with this large boomer population as they age is going to be incredible. And I think we're not ready in a lot of ways across the country, both from a delivery of quality of health care based on the quantity of health care that's going to be delivered. The strain on insurance companies, both government funded and private funded, is going to be incredible. And, I'm seeing elder law on the legal side. It is something that people are actually hearing about now in law school. 20 years ago when I was in law school, I didn't even know it was a thing. When I started law school, I just knew in my heart that as an attorney, I would donate my pro bono or my free legal service hours to seniors. When I graduated, I grew up very, very close with a grandmother. My grandfather, her husband, was 20 years her senior. They were quite the scandal back in the day.
Wow.
And so for me, it was always very normal just to be around people that were much, much older than me. And I always valued them and their experience and their wisdom and found them fun and engaging. So for me to be in the elder law area, it just kind of marries my personal life experience and my professional interests. But I do think now in law school, we're starting to see classes on elder law. I think law schools are recognizing that there's going to be a huge need, as you describe, a tsunami based on population. But even in Arizona right now, there are very few attorneys that focus their practice exclusively or substantially in the elder law area. And we have one of the largest populations of seniors in the country. I mean, it's always, Florida and Arizona, right?
Right.
And so for us to even have as few attorneys statewide that we do, I think that's just symptomatic of the challenge that we're going to be facing. But I am encouraged that there are young attorneys that are starting to pop up that are looking into this and see it as a viable practice for themselves in the future, because the need is going to be there. I see clients every week that come in and say, I wish I had known there were something called an elder law attorney earlier. We would have saved so much money, or my mom would have been in a better care situation, or any myriad of factors, their health, their life, their happiness could have improved. And it sounds strange that, everybody gives lawyers a bad rap, that a lawyer can actually be instrumental in improving somebody's health and welfare, which is the focus of your entire radio program series. But in the elder law area, it's really about, at the end of the day, bringing quality legal solutions to help people live the best lives in the healthiest fashion, even when they start aging and maybe need more help than they did before. So we're really a different, unique brand of attorney.
Now, do you recommend, what age should we be seeking elder law? Is it a number, or is it a capacity? Is it?
That's a great question. So in my practice area, we do everything a regular estate planning attorney does: wills, trusts, probates, trust administration. And estate planning is something everybody 18 and older should do.
Thank you.
So really in the elder law area, elder law is a terrible name because, first off, elder is always 15 to 20 years older than you are, right? I mean, none of us are ever elder
if
or
you're,
old.
If you're 60 or 70, it's still 15 years.
It's way off. So nobody thinks they need an elder law attorney, but really I think everyone can take advantage of the services that an elder law attorney has to offer, because we do basic estate planning, but as I said, we do it with the vantage point of all these other issues of planning for life, planning for health during life, not just what happens when you die and how do we get your assets from point A to point B. We understand Social Security, Medicare, health insurance, long-term care insurance, Medicaid, veterans benefits. I have clients call me with non-legal questions. I laugh all the time. Sometimes I feel like an untrained social worker, you know. I've been in the position of, Bob, and you know this, clients come in, the crisis has hit, they're talking, and I recognize they probably need some help at home and they don't even recognize it yet. And so I get to say, you know, maybe you need a companion caregiver in the home so you can stay in the house longer. And so we often work with other professionals, home health companies, geriatric care managers, physicians, psychiatrists, CPAs, financial planners. So I think anybody at any age can really get the advantage of working with an elder law attorney because we look at life, not just numbers.
And you know, you hit a great point. I want to just emphasize here, and you said it in the first segment too. And that is the one thing you look at from an elder care standpoint is not just death, but how do you live? And really, it's revolving around when an event happens or a change in your physical or mental capacity is care. Mm-hmm. And care is something that many families don't plan for, and it can break you. It can not only break you emotionally and physically, but it can break you financially. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have those plans in place, then you are going to be literally up a creek without a paddle. And when it comes to care, and that's something that I've talked about here on this show, and I know you just mentioned that, you know, you can at least evaluate someone that might need additional care at home, but, you know, some of these places that offer care, I mean, it's that balance. Do I keep that person in their home? And I advocate as much as I can, you know, a world where home is the center of care, or do I place them in a group home or an assisted living or independent living community, which can real quickly eat up your assets?
Yeah, none of it is inexpensive, and that's always a sticker shock. A lot of people are under the misconception that Medicare is going to pay for all of their long-term care needs.
Thank you. Everyone thinks that.
Medicare pays for very limited amounts of long-term care. Maximum is 100 days in a skilled nursing facility, but first you have to have met certain criteria, and I'll tell you, very few people get all 100 days paid. Medicare essentially has no long-term care home health benefit, and they never pay for assisted living or memory care residency in an assisted living or memory care community.
And they don't pay for our services.
And they don't pay for your services. So there's only 3 buckets of money to pay for long-term care, whether it's at home or outside of the home. And that's your own income and savings, which will be rapidly depleted, public benefits through the VA or Medicaid, or a long-term care insurance policy.
And you know what? I think we're out of time. We're listening to Bruce Springsteen. Stephanie, thank you for being on our show. I definitely want to have you back. Make it a great day. Have a safe Labor Day weekend.
Thank you, Bob.
Take care.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Johnny D.
And I'm Rick, the Professor Plum.
Every day on Bucket Strategy Investing, we're talking about financial planning, investment decisions, and retirement strategies.
We focus on wealth education and the strategy designed for the needs you have today
and the goals you have for the future. Tune in to Bucket Strategy Investing
and call in with questions.
Retirement strategies, taxes, Social Security, and more. That's what we're talking about on Bucket Strategy Investing.
And 99.3 FM
is KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257CD Phoenix. Being at this year's Money Radio Financial Fest could be one of the best things ever for your business. Check on exhibitor information at financialfest.com. Dow is down 268 points. The S&P 500 down 29. The NASDAQ down 49.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin now.